3, 2, 1, 0.
Roger, the clock is operating. We're underway.
You're loud and clear.
Roger, we're programming and roll okay. A little bumpy along about here.
Roger. Stand by for 20 seconds.
Roger. We're smoothing out some now, getting out of the vibration area.
Roger, you feel max Q, flight path is...
Roger, feels good through max Q and smoothing out real fine. Cabin pressure coming down by 7, okay, flight very smooth now. Sky looking very dark outside.
All Roger, reading you loud and clear, 7, Cape is go, we're standing by for you.
Roger, Cape is go and I am go. Our capsule is in good shape. Fuel 103, 102, oxygen 78,100, cabin pressure holding steady at 5.8, amps is 2.6. All systems are go, indicating 6G. Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around. Oh, that view is tremendous.
Roger, turnaround has started.
Roger, capsule turning around, and I could see the booster during turnaround just a couple of 100 yards behind me. It was beautiful.
Roger, 7, you have a go, at least 7 orbits.
Roger, understand go for at least 7 orbits. The Friendship 7 can see clear back a big cloud pattern way back across toward the Cape. We're all set. This is very comfortable at 0G. I have nothing but very fine feeling. It just feels very normal and very good. Have very little dirt floating around in the capsule, just a little bit, and preparing to take xylos still at present time. This is Friendship 7, the head movements cause no sensations whatsoever. Feel fine, reach test, I can hit directly to any spot that I want to hit. I have no problem reaching for knobs and have adjusted to 0G very easily, much easier than I really thought I would. I have excellent vision on the charts, no astigmatism or any malfunctions at all. I feel fine so far, over.
Roger, understand.
This is Friendship 7, have beautiful view of the African coast, both in the scope and out the window. Out the window is by far the best view. Part of the Canaries was hidden by clouds. Roger, how you doing, Gordo? We're doing real fine up here. Everything is going very well, over.
John, you sound good.
Roger, control fuel is 90,100, oxygen is 75,100, amps are 22. All systems are still go, having no problems at all. Control system operating fine, over. The only unusual thing I have noticed is a rather high, what it will appear to be a haze layer up sunset, 7 or 8 degrees above the horizon on the night side.
What is going on, everybody? It is 7:45 here in Florida, in Jacksonville, Florida. It's currently in the news right now. Gotta love it. Welcome, guys. I'm going to be hanging out with you guys for probably about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. We shall see. The topic of conversation tonight is one that has been a topic of conversation since this goddamn channel began. Star Wars versions. Various versions. DVD versions. Laserdisc versions. Blu-ray versions. Special edition versions. Fan preservation versions. Like the Despecialized edition by Mr. Harmy. Or 4K77. There are a ton of versions. Adawan's Revisited, Silver Screen Edition. Some you may have heard of, some you may have never heard of. Yeah, man, it's really interesting. And there's no one. Well, I mean, we all have our preferences, what we prefer, right? What versions we think are better, what versions we grew up watching. Whatever version you like, that's your version, right? It's cool, man. But welcome. Let's discuss this stuff, because this is one of my favorite topics about Star Wars, obviously. I'm actually working on a video right now. I have, as of right now, 3 pages scripted, and I jump into the Despecialized edition, the history behind that. I jump into Project 4K77. I jump into the Blu-ray version. All this video is going to be a long research video about fan preservation projects along with official releases and comparing and contrasting. And yeah, I'm super excited to get this thing done. I'm probably going to take another week on it. But yeah, man. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all right off the bat, man. So many super chats and channel supports right before the stream even technically began. Let me go down the list. Jai Wilkins, good to see you, man. Hey, Greedo, just wanted to say hello. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Wilkins. Hope you're doing well. It's always good to see the little Bosk avatar there. But Jai, thanks for popping on, man. And thank you so much for the channel support. Hello right back to you. Daniel Ambrose, thank you so much as well. I stuck to my THX laser discs for years. Still have a working player until Harmy's hit the internet. Now I do 4K77 for 4 and Harmy's for 5 and 6. Yeah, you kind of nailed it for me, Daniel. You know, obviously the Blu-rays came out in 2011. That is those Blu-rays and their changes made to them are basically the entire reason that this channel started, you know, as you guys know. And for a long time, the Blu-rays were my go-to. And you know, I didn't have my finger on the heartbeat of the fandom back then. I was just making videos and not really paying attention to much. And I think it took me like a year to discover the Despecialized editions. I think I discovered them in like 2012, maybe 2013. And I've just been, that's kind of been my go-to for a long time now. Especially for A New Hope. And then Project 4K77 rolled around, right? That came out, what, last year? I think. I made a video about it. I've been watching it for a while and I can't even remember. No, it's older than that, I think. 2018? I can't remember. And now that's my go-to. But I still love Harmy's. It is, the way I describe it is like Harmy's is a retroactive, well, that's not the way to put it. It's it's like a reverse engineering of pieces that exist. Does that make sense? So Harmy basically used, for the most part, a lot of the 2011 Blu-ray footage and then reverse engineered it basically to make it look like an original release. It's like working backwards, and I love it. I love it. I mean, the amount of love and effort that went into that. I'm actually, I want to interview the guy. I would love to. I may have sent him a message, which would be a dream come true, man. But yeah, I'm with you, Daniel. Primarily, I watch 4K77 right now, just because it is, you know, as authentic can get from a theatrical 35mm print, scanned in at 4K, cleaned at 4K, and rendered at 4K. It's beautiful, but I appreciate it, Daniel. Let me scroll up. Oh, Caleb Kim, thank you so much as well, man. My go-to is the 4K editions of A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. 4K, 77, and 83, but have to settle for Despecialized for Empire. I actually don't have the 4K 83. I don't have 4K 80's out, isn't it? I thought 4K 80 is out. I thought it was out. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's not. So yeah, I actually don't have 4K 83, and obviously I guess 4K 80 is not out, so obviously I don't have that. The only 4K Project 4K 77 is the only one I have in that. So yeah, it's gorgeous. It was kind of neat. I put out that video, like a month ago about Project 4K 77, and it was really interesting because, I mean, so many people in the comment section had never heard of it. Which isn't surprising. You know, sometimes these things fly under the radar, probably intentionally. And here I am blasting it out to 100,000 people. And I was surprised, man. That video took off. It's one of my most popular videos in months. I mean, like, it's crazy. It just hit the right nerve, I suppose. And it's an interesting story, you know, but I love it. These projects of passion, these fan restorations, these fan preservations. It's one of the most pure aspects of the fandom. It's just, I love it. I love it, man. But anyway, I appreciate that, Caleb. Hope you're doing well, man. What's up, Cap? Good to see you, man. Cap Coldblood, Caleb, Nathan, Wolfman, and Kai. Good to see you guys. Cap Coldblood said, I have original VHS copies of the OT that I cherish, but are too low quality to enjoy. I'm with you. I prefer the newer D+ edition for the extra scenes and quality. I did turn on the Disney Plus 4K version, like right when they came out, just to check it out, you know, on my TV. They're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous. I'm with you. Like, literally, Cap, as you'll be able to hear this in a second. You hear this beauty? You hear that? You hear that? That's the jingle jangle of my Star Wars VHS box set. Number 0609. Proof of purchase. 1995 box set. On the back, I mean, I'm assuming you have this as well, Cap. It says, this is a George Lucas quote on the back of my Star Wars trilogy VHS box set from 1995. It says, quote, the appeal of Star Wars has gone beyond anything I could have ever imagined. I am pleased that for the final video release of Star Wars in its original version, we can present it with the best sound and picture quality yet available, thanks to THX digital mastering. In the years to come, I hope you, your children, and your children's children will enjoy not only this trilogy, but also the adventures yet to come in the continually unfolding Star Wars universe. So this basically, it says, you know, in this VHS box set, which I'm assuming you have the same one, Cap, it says, I am pleased that for the final video release of Star Wars in its original version, we can blah, 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 blah. So this was the last time the non-special edition version was on VHS. Now, there was a 2006 Blu-ray, or not Blu-ray, a DVD, a 2006 DVD release that had the unaltered version or the original version of, I think it was Just A New Hope. I could be wrong, but it was on like a bonus disc. So, but yeah, no HD original, right? But yeah, Cap, it is a cherished item as well, man. It's one of my most cherished Star Wars items. And it probably hasn't been played in 15 years since I got them on DVD.
I watched the films
back
on
in the day.
4K or Blu-ray, but I recently watched the OG version of Roach and didn't miss the recent changes. Cinematography is still the ugliest of the lot, but I enjoyed it, especially Yub Nub.
Sub Terrell, thank you so much, man. Good to see you as always. I appreciate that. Give me one sec. This is a topic that many people enjoy. It's dude, one of my favorite things about this topic is that people pop on here and they're like, what the hell is everybody talking about? Versions? Huh? It's kind of neat. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, man. Give me one sec. And let me scroll up to see who is next on the old channel supporter list. Caleb Kemp, once again, thank you so much. Also, hello there. My work break is now up. I will listen to this later. Have a good one. Right back at you, man. Enjoy work. Keep pressing. You got to be there, right? So make the best of it. But yeah, hope it goes by quick and you can head home and play video games or watch movies or listen to this stream while you do those things. But I appreciate that, man. Enjoy it. And Kaya Dathomir, thank you so much for the channel support as well. I prefer the 4K versions, except for Return of the Jedi. For that one, I prefer the 2004 Special Edition. That Darth Vader no line makes it unwatchable. Yeah, it's one of the... It ruins the silent redemption, right? The silent contemplation on Vader's emotion-filled, non-emotional helmet. I don't know. I'm with you, man. Yeah, the 4K versions, like I said, I have not watched them. The Disney Plus 4K versions, I have not watched them from start to finish. When they first got released on there, I did fire them up out of curiosity just to see, what was done, what it looked like in 4K, first time in 4K, official release. Yeah, I mean, they're undeniably gorgeous, right? Undeniably gorgeous. Yeah, but nowadays, if there is an official 4K release with all the, the doodads and whatnot added, scenes, audio, manipulation, changes, but then side by side, I have 4K 77, which is like the most authentic original version you can possibly have at the moment. I'm going with 4K 77, right? They're both 4K. One is, from a 35 millimeter original theatrical print, scanned in at 4K, cleaned at 4K, and rendered at 4K. And the other one is a Blu-ray I don't remember. I remember reading about the restoration or whatnot, but I don't know, man. There's a whole long list of changes that my least favorite changes, and that Kai is super high on that list. But I appreciate that, man. And the Canadian Wolfman, good to see you. Mr. Wolfman says despecialized Blu-ray. Absolutely. It's so cool to look back on the history of the despecialized edition, Wolfman. As I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm actually working on a video and doing a lot of research about the timeline of the project, comparing it to 4K 77, comparing it to the Blu-ray, making it really detailed and interesting and whatnot. And going through the history of Harmy's Despecialized Edition, it's really interesting. In 2010, it seems like he got the idea, and then him and I believe 8 other fans from originaltrilogy.com got together. They among them, they spent thousands of hours on this fan preservation project, and just to know the amount of work and rotoscoping and the tediousness of it all to bring this project of passion to life is one of my favorite stories just in Star Wars fandom. I think Harmy gave the world and those of us like myself who were looking for something different in HD, something that we grew up watching, and he delivered. And he's still working on it. I believe he's up to version 3 now. There was a version 2.5, 2.7. I can't remember what it was, but there's been multiple versions since it was released in 2011. And I believe he's working on version 3 right now, splicing in some 4K 77 footage, and then, it's really interesting, man. I love it. Anyway, Wolfman, Despecialized Edition had been my go-to for a very, very long time.
My most treasured Star Wars investment was Harmy's Despecialized. I purchased last winter. The opening discretion with Binary Sunset truly made me emotional to see the fruits of such positive fans and enjoy art.
You bought him, Tin Tails. Interesting. Tin Tails, thank you so much for the channel support, man. It's good to see you. I greatly appreciate that. Give me one sec. This is a topic that I'm going to be long-winded about, so I appreciate the patience, guys. But yeah, Wolfman, thanks, man. And Nathan Pelka, Disney Plus ones are okay, McClunky. Yeah, Nathan, they're fine, right? My thing, I want all these versions to exist. I'm not going to shit all over the Disney Plus version with McClunky, despite me, it's not my go-to. I get why people like it. I get it. I think a lot of it has to do with what you grew up with first watching, right? The first time that I saw the McClunky change, I wasn't like angry. I wasn't mad. Yeah, I've been involved with this stuff for a long time. I actually kind of chuckled because it was just one of those things, right? One of those things. Like, what the hell? It was just like so dumb, but it didn't make me angry. I was just like, oh, there's another thing. There's another thing to add to the list. But yeah, my thing is, I want all these versions to exist. Disney Plus, 2011 Blu-ray, 97 Special Edition, 2004 DVDs. I want all these versions to exist. They all have a place. But I also want the version that, kicked everything off to exist too. The version that won Oscars. I want that version, the 1977 version, to exist in a modern viewing format, right? 4K, eventually maybe 8K. I think a 35 millimeter print can go up to 8K, maybe even higher than that. I want all these versions to exist. And I want an official release of the original of the original. But yeah. Anyway, man, I appreciate that. And Dysoria Junkie, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I can't watch A New Hope unless it's Star Wars. Oh, yeah, okay. See, I don't have that kind of rigidity. I get it. There is something like when I watch 4K 7.7 or there is something fun about there not being A New Hope in the title or anything like that. But I don't go that rigid with it. I'm completely fine with the title A New Hope being there. Obviously, that was basically one of the first changes, right?
I have the despecialized Blu-rays, but I actually prefer the special edition for Empire. BTW, how was life growing up on Tatooine? Saw you in TPM. This FL heat must feel like a breeze in comparison. Visited once. Never again.
Hot in the day, cold at night, Vince. I appreciate that, man. It's good to see you. Give me one sec, guys. Let me run down the list real quick because I know I got a lot of you guys waiting, and I greatly appreciate the patience there. I got Dysoria Junkie, Subtrail Prospector, George Heilman, Oscar Rodriguez, The Tin Tails, Lachlan Morris, and Vince Wynn. I appreciate it, guys. So yeah, Dysoria, I'm not that rigid. Like I said, that's one of the first changes. I think the title A New Hope was added on the theatrical re-release of Star Wars in like 1978 or 1979. I think that's the first time. Let me see. When was A New Hope added to Star Wars? 81. Okay, so after The Empire Strikes Back. So Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope opening crawl. In the original May 1977 release of Star Wars, the opening crawl did not feature an episode number or the subtitle A New Hope. Those would be added with the film's April 10th, 1981 theatrical re-release. So A New Hope was first seen as a title in 1981, 4 years after its original release. So yeah, you could say that's basically one of the first Star Wars change, right? And it's one that it doesn't bother me, because it's just they had an opportunity to make a trilogy, and yeah, why not? But it's an interesting piece of trivia for sure, right? I appreciate that, man. And Subtrail Prospector, thank you so much for the channel support as well. I watched the films on 4K or Blu-ray, but I recently watched the OG version of Return of the Jedi and didn't miss the recent changes. Cinematography is still the ugliest of the OT, but I enjoyed it, especially Yub Nub. Let me see, you watched the OG version of... Okay. And didn't miss the recent changes. Okay, I read that wrong. Yeah, there's no change in Return of the Jedi that I like or even I mean, certain changes, I get, in A New Hope, for example, the dogfighting, the Death Star battle, there's added shots. There's more fluidity to the combat. I get it, right? I get it. Some of the
I recently realized people view the X-Men similarly to SW. 11 movies, each one X-Men not out yet. Folks love half, dislike the half.
Interesting.
Unlike SW with X-Men, people agree which the good and bad ones are.
Oh, interesting, Ben. Interesting. Give me 1 sec, man. Give me 1 sec. I greatly appreciate that. So yeah, Subtrail. Certain changes like that. I get little shift in quality, even. How do I put it? Like, yeah, there's some changes that maybe just enhance the quality of the picture, right? But then in Return of the Jedi, I think is some of the worst. I mean, the entire new Jabba like dancer sequence, nope. Even the Sarlacc pit, the Venus flytrap aspect of it, I don't get it. Yeah, Victory Celebration is some. I get Victory Celebration. I'll go into that a little bit more, but I prefer Yub Nub. It's always a joy when I hear it. Yeah, I do not understand any Return of the Jedi changes except for Victory Celebration, and I'll tell you why. I think when you listen to Victory Celebration with the entire 6-film, prequel original trilogy, that chunk of the saga, when you look at those 6 films as one cohesive thing, I think Victory Celebration kind of fits the mood a little better once you know all that backstory. It's a little more somber, it's a little more melancholy. It kind of fits this heartbreaking victory, right? Because now we know the backstory of this guy's dad. I think it fits. It's a tragic victory. I can respect it for that reason. Yub Nub is, we got these 3 films. We kick the shit out of the Empire. Vader's dead. Oorah. Just, you know what I mean? And I love it for that too. But I understand in the context of these 6 films, I get Victory Celebration. It's not necessary. It's definitely not necessary. But I think it does fit. Maybe a little better in the tone that they're going for at the end with the context of the 6 films, But hell yeah, Subtrail. It's always a joy to watch the original versions, right? It feels like you're, I don't know, it feels like you're doing something like fighting. I don't know. It feels like you're watching something you shouldn't, that hasn't been officially released, right? I love it. It's neat. It's neat. But I appreciate that, man. All 4K 77 is a 4K transfer. It's still only 1080p. Not mine. No, there's let me look at it right now. Maybe you downloaded the wrong thing? No, man, mine's where did it go? Oh, no, mine's 2160. George Heilman, thank you so much for the channel support. My OT is my quote-unquote limited DVD editions with the original pre-special edition Laserdisc versions transferred to the format. Not fancy, but they're the real deal. Hey, yeah, that was the last official release, right? Yeah, that's, let me take a quick sip of the old water. So yeah, George, I think that came out in 2006, if I'm remembering correctly. So that DVD edition from 2006 is the last official release of the pre-special edition Star Wars. It's kind of interesting. I believe it was on a bonus disc too. It wasn't like an option on the main movie disc. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, as you said, not fancy, but they're the real deal. And I completely get why you watch them, you know, that way. For me, it's like there was a time, George, where before I kind of knew about the despecialized editions, like I said at the beginning of the stream, I probably didn't find out about them until 2012 or 2013. And there was a time where, you know, I had the option to watch the unaltered, the pre-special edition Star Wars, or my Blu-ray, my special edition Blu-rays, my 2011 tinkered and toyed with Blu-rays. And I would always go for the 2011 Blu-rays over my like VHS or my DVDs. Always. Because quality. The picture is incredible. I wrote about it in Sorry About the Mess, the book, and that was the whole reason I bought a PS3. It was basically the whole reason I bought a 1080p TV, was for those 2011 Blu-rays. And when I watched those for the first time, it was like experiencing Star Wars for the first time. It was mind-blowing, man. Something that crisp and clear was incredible. So yeah, there was like 2 or 3 years maybe where, you know, I had the option to watch my VHSs or my DVDs, the pre-special edition stuff, but I chose the quality of the picture just because it was so mind-blowing, you know, HD format Star Wars. But yeah, man, I get it. Wholeheartedly get it, George. And I appreciate it, man. Let's see. And Oscar Rodriguez, good to see as always, man. Oscar Rodriguez says, my go-to is the Blu-ray versions of the OT. Let me read that again. My go-to is the Blu-ray versions of the OT. When I first saw the OT, it was the special edition at age 7. I didn't see the original cuts until I was 14. Oscar, I hear that so often from folks, which is cool. It's really cool because it's like a moment of discovery when people find out that the Star Wars that they've been watching for so long was changed. Because, you know, and then it, like you said, you grew up with it, right? You watched the special edition version of the original trilogy when you were 7. There's no way you're gonna like my version better, right? I mean, you grew up, unless you do. Maybe you're an outlier, but I would be willing to bet that most people who grew up watching the special editions, that's what they love. And I get it, man. I completely get it. So yeah, my go-to, as you said, or as I said earlier, was for a very long time, the Blu-ray original trilogy. Because I went with quality of picture rather than popping in my VHS or my DVD pre-special edition stuff. So, yeah, man. I get it. I completely get it. And yeah, your experience is definitely something that I've heard quite a bit over the years. People didn't even know that, you know, there was a original version of Star Wars until, you know, they found out later, or maybe watched one of my silly ass early changes videos, you know. But yeah, man, I appreciate that. And the 10 Tails 1, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I greatly appreciate that, man. Hope you're doing well. 10 Tails, let me see where is that? Okay. 10 Tails says, my most treasured Star Wars investment was Harmy's despecialized OT I purchased last winter. The opening discretion with Binary Sunset truly made me emotional to see the fruits of such oh, I see. Okay. We have such positive fans and enjoy art as intended. Oh, that's cool. I don't. You bought it? I didn't think it was possible to buy. It's without going into details. There's, you know, if you ever heard of things like torrents, they exist. So, yeah, I'm curious. That's interesting. I'm looking on eBay. I'm interested. 10 Tails, I'm going to keep an eye on the chat. Tell me how much you paid for those. I'm very curious because it's you're not supposed to be able to... It's not going to Harmy, for sure. It's definitely people that probably just ripped it offline like everybody else did, and then made like cover art and stuff like that and put it in. That's interesting, though. I did not know that was a thing, and I actually see people selling it on eBay. Interesting. So yeah, I actually, Tin Tails, I actually don't have a physical copy of them. They're only on my hard drive. Now, my dad has a Blu-ray burner, and I don't. You know what? Actually, let me look this up. Blank Blu-ray cases. No, that's not on there. Yeah, I've always wanted to. My dad has a Blu-ray player or a burner, like I said. I don't have a Blu-ray burner. I've always wanted to just give him a couple discs and have him burn, you know, the Blu-rays on there for me, and then order some blank Blu-ray cases and then have them on my shelf. You know, there's some really great cover art that people have created for the despecialized editions, and I want them all on my shelf. You know, they're equally as cool of a thing to have to me as the official releases. It's because of the story behind them. Oh, what's that?
A complete set from a trusted vendor on eBay. I can't recall the name of the seller, but it costed about $80 cases, I believe, digital copies and all.
Oh, interesting, Tin Tails. I appreciate that, man. Give me one sec. But yeah, they're definitely. I mean, like you said, they're one of your most treasured Star Wars things, and I agree. The story behind them, the effort that it took, dude, he's still working on them. Version 3 is what he's working on right now. It's cool. Yeah, man, I appreciate that. And Lachlan Morris, thank you so much for the channel support as well. Was born in the year 2000, so I pretty much grew up on these special editions. My conditioning is so that I even don't mind Jabba's Palace song. Well, that's funny that you put it that way. Your conditioning. No, I always say this, man. There's no one way to watch Star Wars. There's no one version that everybody has to lockstep, you know, watch. There's no one way to watch it. And you were born in 2000. You're 20. That's hard to believe. That feels like it was yesterday. But, you know, so that's all you knew for a long time, right? How would you have ever seen the original version? I mean, by 2000, DVDs were around, right? DVDs were about to explode a couple years later. And, when did the first DVD player come out? It was early 2000s, maybe. First DVD player. 96. Okay, first DVD player, 96. So yeah, right around the same time. But so yeah, how would you have ever seen it? What would you have a VHS copy? Maybe, but you got a Blu-ray or a DVD player now, right? So yeah, I get it, man. I get it. There's no question in my mind that if I was born in the year 2000 and the only Star Wars that I ever watched was the special editions, that's what I grew up with. There's no question in my mind that I would, I'd be right in the same boat you are, bobbing my head to the new Jabba's Palace song. So yeah, and I also, Lachlan, I love the way you put it. My conditioning. It's funny, man. We all have those things, right? But I think one of the biggest factors is what you grew up with, you know. But now there's so many iterations, there's so many versions. The original 97 special edition, 2004 DVDs, 2011 Blu-rays, the Disney Plus, so many different versions, and a lot of people are probably gonna just completely misremember things. Like, you ever watch I've watched Star Wars before, where in the past where I'm watching a new version, and here's the best example. 2011 Blu-rays, right? Sat down to watch them with my friends and my wife, my then girlfriend. And we're watching Return of the Jedi. And I'm sitting there super excited to hear Yub Nub. Now, granted, this is not new, but I wasn't that... Victory Celebration came on, basically. And I was waiting for Yub Nub. My brain wasn't in it. And when the credits rolled, I was like, where the fuck was Yub Nub? It was like one of those moments where, am I imagining this entirely different Star Wars existence? Was that a dream? I know, it felt weird. But anyway, Lachlan. I appreciate it, man. One sec, guys. Let me respond to this text and turn off these damn notifications. Okay, there we go. But yeah, man, I appreciate that, Lackham. And Vince Wynn, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for the channel support as well. Vince says, I have the despecialized Blu-rays, but I actually prefer the special edition for Empire. By the way, how is life growing up on Tatooine? Saw you in the Phantom Menace. This Florida heat must feel like a breeze in comparison. Visited once, never. It's a different kind of heat, Vince. If you ever been out to the high deserts out west, it's a very dry heat. Here in Florida, that's just like Tatooine. Here in Florida, it's the humidity. You step outside and you're already drenched from armpits to asshole, and you might as well have jumped in the pool. You're so sweaty. But yeah, so when it comes to special edition changes or changes in general, Empire definitely felt the least of the brunt, right? So, and the changes made to Empire are not nearly as just kind of pop you on the nose as, let's say, the new Jabba scene in the in the Hangar Bay, right? Or the Jabba Palace stuff. The really only change that I think stands out, and it can go completely unnoticed, and it's not in your face and glaring, unless you've obviously seen the original, is in Cloud City, the backgrounds of things. I don't think adding those backgrounds detracted from anything. I think if anything, it added something to it. It added to the picture. I think it's a beautiful, like, orange hue, clouds in the background. It's one of the changes. It's one of the, like, most overt changes that I don't find to be dumb. You know, it's yeah, like I said, it is. It's a very overt change when in the grand scheme of things. I mean, they're completely cutting out windows in this windowless place that was originally windowless, right? And they're adding a backdrop. But it fits and it works and it looks good, you know? But yeah, man, I appreciate that. And Invader Weasel, thank you so much for the channel support as well. I recommend watching Film Space series, going over all the changes. It's a 5-part series and it's really well made. Interesting. I've never, let's see, Film Spaced Star Wars. Is that YouTube? Okay, it is YouTube. Let's see. Mute. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, this is a history and comparison of the different versions of Star Wars: A New Hope. Oh, cool. This is awesome. Part 1 of 4. For an even more depth look. I appreciate the recommendation here. Oh, that's cool. Oh, weird. I went down to the comment section and they're said, honestly, I think Caesar Santos says, honestly, I feel Film Space series of the Star Wars Special Edition changes is the best one out there, even better than Marcelo Zuniga one, and HelloGreedo, even though his channel is really good. That means a lot. I've been a fan of HelloGreedo for. That's funny, man. Small world, right? We're all talking about Star Wars changes. Yeah, this is cool. This is really cool. I'm scrubbing through it without any audio on. But this definitely looks in depth and way more detailed than what I ever did back when I made those changes videos, right? So this is really cool, man. Foreground rocks to cover the bottom. Wait, the land speeder now actually hovers in the side shot instead of using foreground rocks to cover the bottom. Wait, say that again? What was that? Sorry, man. I'm kind of scrubbing through this footage. Land speeder now actually hovers. What? Huh. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to check this out, Invader Weasel. I'm gonna link this. Sorry, guy, I feel like I just wasted everybody's time by just going, huh? Cool, for 2 minutes. I just copied and pasted a link to what Invader Weasel told me about. It's really cool, man. I'm gonna check this out for sure. Cool. And Benjamin B, thank you so much as well. Benjamin B says, I recently realized that people view the X-Men similarly to Star Wars. 11 movies each, one X-Men not out yet. Folks love half, dislike the half. Unlike Star Wars, with X-Men, people agree which the good and bad ones are. So it's not a fandom that, well, it's one that kind of seems to agree. Interesting. Let me look this up. X-Men movies. Ben, that's really interesting to hear. I've often wondered about other fandoms and kind of whether there's big divides. X-Men is one that I never would have, for whatever reason, it's not one that I think of very often. Marvel fans seem to be pretty what you would consider classic Marvel movies. I mean, yes, obviously X-Men, Marvel, blah, but you know, I'm talking about Avengers and all that kind of stuff. They seem to be pretty agreeable with one another, right? I could be wrong. I'm not, you know, in the muck with that fandom. Now, Star Trek fans, I would assume that there's some infighting in that group, just because modern Star Wars does not feel like Star Wars of the past whatsoever, so I would assume that there's some kind of divide, although I've never looked into it, but I would assume so. But that's interesting. So I haven't seen, I'm going to say, most of these movies, Ben. I did see the original 2000 X-Men. I did see X-Men 2. I did see First Class. I think I saw Days of Future Past. I saw Logan. I think that's all I've ever seen. So I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6? Maybe 6? I'm not too sure. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, for whatever reason, man, this is kind of a franchise that I've never really gotten into. There's not many franchises that I've gotten into, like Star Wars, Star Trek. I used to collect X-Men trading cards when I was a kid. I don't know why. I think it was just kind of like the artwork was cool to me. I enjoyed drawing it and try to recreate them, you know. But yeah, that's interesting. I would love to kind of hear from other fandoms and see what the disagreements are among them. But I butchered it. Lachlan equals Lachlan. Good effort. Wait, how did I say it? What did I say? Did I say Lachlan? Lachlan? Lachlan. Good effort. All right. Well, maybe, am I Lachlan? Did I butcher it? I can't, honestly, I thought I was saying Lachlan. Maybe it's just because you corrected me. Now I'm doing some revisionist history in my own brain. But I appreciate the correction, man. If anybody, you know, if you're a regular on these streams, you know I have a tendency to heavily butcher names. But I appreciate the kick in the ass there. And D Gill Vids, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for the channel support. D Gill says, "How's this for a Star Wars name? Daggett Sinclair. Is that a name already? I like it. To me, the name Daggett fits. It sounds like it would be a Star Wars name. Now, Sinclair, I don't know why. I'm trying to think of other Organa. For whatever reason, I mean, it definitely fits. It definitely has a swashbuckling sound to it. But for whatever reason, I'm trying to think of all the other Star Wars last names. I guess it's maybe, to me, it's a little. It definitely fits, but it almost sounds a little too earthy. Kenobi, Solo, Organa, Skywalker. Hux, Dameron. I guess Dameron's a little earthy. Tico. I think it fits. It might be a little too earthy for my taste when it comes to Star Wars names, but I think it fits. I think Daggett sounds like a good is a pretty good first name for a Star Wars character. I dig it. But I appreciate that, man. And Caleb Woolston, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support this evening. Caleb says, actually like the old Palpatine hologram, he's more terrifying. Yeah, that's something that doesn't very often get brought up. It's weird. Out of all the changes, that is, and I often forget about it too, Caleb, because it is a very small but a very big change. I mean, entirely scrapping an actor, an entirely new dialogue, right? It's interesting. It's really interesting. I think the old one is terrifying in like an unintentional way, because it's not. If you ever listen to the voice, which I'm sure you have, maybe some people out there haven't, but if you watch the original Emperor from the original version of The Empire Strikes Back, he definitely doesn't have as menacing of a voice. He just kind of sounds like a guy who has a little bit of power, and he's, but yeah, I'm tempted to say that I kind of like the newer one better. I think it looks better. I think it sounds better. Maybe the dialogue is better. There's an interesting story about this, Caleb, and I actually, in writing my video that I'm hoping to get out next week, there's an interesting story about that particular change and J.J. Abrams. Let me read this real quick. It's kind of interesting. So J.J. Abrams was asked by a site called Now This News, I think it was. Now This Is News or Now This News. I can't remember, but the interviewer asked him about the unaltered Star Wars trilogy getting a at-home release, getting commercial release. And Abrams said, quote, "I have asked about this, but I've been told that for reasons that I quite don't understand, that's not necessarily possible, which is, too bad, because that was the thing that I loved. In fact, it's funny, when we were working on Force Awakens, we were talking about this one scene with Vader and the Emperor, and we were having this disagreement about what was said. And in a way it was like we both felt crazy. And we realized we were talking about two different versions, because there's the despecialized version, which you can see online. Someone got me a version. And then there was an official version. There was the original theatrical version and the version that people see now." Close quote. So even J.J. Abrams is aware of the despecialized edition, which is cool. And even him, this like, well, as I talked about earlier, like this faulty memory almost when you watch a version of Star Wars and maybe you're used to it one way and then you're like, what, huh? But yeah, anyway, Caleb, yeah, I get it, man. for me, maybe the only reason that I would prefer that is just because it is the original version, and it is, and I'm a, film preservation, I suppose, would be the only reason that I kind of prefer it over what was changed. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Matt Newland, thank you so much for the channel support. Have you ever seen the Puggo Grand transfers of the OT? It's the original 16mm versions with theatrical audio. No, but I believe Puggo worked on Despecialized, right? I believe so. I recognize that name. Puggo Grand Star Wars. Archive, original trilogy. Let's see. What is the Puggo Grand? It is my transfer. Oh, it is my transfer and restoration of two 16mm prints of Star Wars. These films were borrowed from a source who wishes to remain temporarily anonymous, and who from now on will go by the name Jackson. Both of the prints have the original crawl. One of the prints has Swedish subtitles and the original mono mix. I haven't decided if I will grab the video from both prints or just the Swedish version as source for the mono mix. As I review the quality of the frames, I'll decide as I go. So this post is from 2008. Interesting, man. No, this is one that I'm not heavily familiar with. Polygon did an article. So, so you can watch an unaltered version of Star Wars in HD today if you bend the law. Interesting. Okay, so Harmies, and then you got Jackson, Puggo, Grant. This is cool, man. No, this is one that I've heard of. As I said, I heard of Puggo, but I've never seen this version, and I'm gonna work my magic and hocus pocus my way to getting it. But I appreciate that, man. I'm just gonna fill my hard drives with Star Wars versions. I love it. I love this shit, Matt. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Man, with this subject, you learn something new every time you talk about it. It's crazy. But yeah. And D Gil Vids, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. D Gil Vids says, 04 is my Star Wars. 97 was needed. Negatives were rough. Blu-ray looks nice, but changes more. Haven't 4K'd yet, and McClunky loves some McClunky. 97 was needed. Yeah, I'm all for, restoration, all for preservation. I mean, you guys know what. Basically, you know what I'm against, Stevie. So yeah, while I do appreciate the 97 versions for doing some heavy restoration, there's an entire different aspect of it that I'm not a fan of. But like I said, there's so many versions, pick and choose. And the thing that's crazy is the one version that so many people want is not officially released. It's up to people like Harmy, Puggo, the folks at Negative Team. Oh shit! What I completely forgot. Team Team -1. Everybody from OriginalTrilogy.com who's worked on projects. That's kind of the hub. It's up to fans to either reverse engineer or have actual prints, theatrical prints to scan in and work on. But yeah, haven't 4K'd yet. And McClunky, watch some 4K, man. It's gorgeous. I gotta tell you, like, as much as I love watching them on Blu-ray, as the 4K version on Disney Plus is gorgeous. The 4K 77 version is, to me, I don't know, there's something about watching it. It's crystal clear. It's clean. But it's what I remember.
Finished Mandalorian.
Oh.
All the hype left me let down. I feel like 70 of it is fluff unrelated to the plot. I have the Despecialized but haven't seen it yet. I hope the hype doesn't oversell it.
Benjamin B, thank you so much for the channel support as well, man. Give me a second. But yeah, D-Gale, I appreciate that. Sorry for being so long-winded, guys. I got Tin Tails, Carter, Sapity, Oscar, Desoria Junkie, Vince, Tin Tails, Clark, Wolfman, William, Ben B. Guys, I can't say thank you enough. This is a fun topic, and I greatly appreciate the channel support tonight. Tin Tails says, I purchased a complete set from a trusted vendor on eBay. I can't recall the name of the seller, but it cost about $80 cases. I believe digital copies and all. I can't recommend anybody do that. That is not legal. And Harmy doesn't see that money. It's up for free. I can't really, you go to originaltrilogy.com and all the restoration and information is there, but I'm glad you got your copy. That's pretty cool. Like I said, man, I've only had them on my hard drive for years. I want to put them next to my official releases because they're that important to me. They're as important to me as those official releases because it represents an entirely different side of kind of Star Wars film, But digital copies and all. That's cool, man. I'm curious what cover art, because I love the despecialized edition cover art that I've seen on like DeviantArt and stuff like that, or even on originaltrilogy.com. But yeah, man, I appreciate that support. Keep on watching them. And Carter, where did it go? Did I miss it? Okay. All right. So it's completely out of order. Well, not completely, but it's a little out of order, I think. I got Carter, Sapity, and then Oscar. All right. So Carter says has the despecialized editions on custom-made Blu-rays. Lucasfilm/Disney, FBI, open up. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know anything about. Obviously, you can't sell it for profit, right? That's why Harmy doesn't sell it for profit. But yeah, so I don't know how it works, man. I don't know how it works. And I see it as a preservation thing. We've all been waiting for a decade plus. And when people take it upon themselves to kind of preserve what was, it's pretty incredible. Despecialized edition is obviously it's very different from 4K 77 or silver screen, various other editions. Despecialized works to reverse engineer the 2011 Blu-rays and various other releases to create a original release. Then you got 4K 77, which is a scan and clean of an original 35 millimeter print. It's that's basically like taking your home movies and scanning them into your computer and cleaning them up. I can't speak tonight. Cleaning them up, right? But anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Sapity, thank you so much for the channel support. 1995's VHS version with John Alvis's art on the covers. Those are my holy relics, greater than the Grail itself. It's funny that you mentioned the Grail, man. In my my video that I'm writing, I say, that's all, but hey, even if we never get to drink from the official Star Wars HD Holy Grail, at least we will always have Harmy's Despecialized. That's kind of funny that I wrote the word Grail today, and you wrote the word Grail today too. How rare. Yeah, is that... I actually don't know... Let me see. Let me look up that artist. I don't know who designed this, and I'm assuming we're talking about the same ones. John Alvis Star Wars. Oh, Alvin's. I'm not familiar. John Alvis Star Wars. VHS. Oh, okay. Yep. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I recognize these. I don't have these. I have the 1995 VHS set with the giant faces on them. With Vader, Stormtrooper, and Yoda. But yeah, so I have 95 of 95 VHS box set as well, Sappy, right? And I haven't watched them in years. I don't intend to put them in. I have no reason to put them in. I almost feel like putting them in might damage them. But like you said, right? This box set, it's just kind of I don't know, it's an item now. It's like something that I'm just happy that I have. You know, one of the final home releases of the original trilogy, and it's neat. It's neat. Yeah. I appreciate that, Sappany. And Oscar Rodriguez, thank you so much for the channel support. Just to go through the list: Oscar, Desoria, Vince, Tintails, Clark, Wolfman, William, Ben B, D. Gill, and Bearded Emperor. Oscar says, I first noticed a change. The first I noticed a change was with Return of the Jedi. I had the 2000 VHS and the 2004 DVD. It was mostly the same, but Shaw Hayden swap caught me by surprise. Oh, interesting. It was mostly the same, but Shaw. Yeah. Wait, yeah. Now I'm trying to think what maybe mine. Okay, yeah. No, I'm trying to think like when I first noticed that. I did have the 2004 DVDs. I must have been that. That is a pretty startling one though, right? It is a pretty startling one though, especially if you don't know that it's coming and you're used to watching it one way. That's one that, for continuity's sake, I like I said, I get some of these changes like that. I get it. But I miss you, Sebastian Shaw, whenever I would watch my Blu-rays. Why can't we have the choose your own adventure Shaw or Hayden ending right before that scene pops up? Who would you like to see? But yeah. That's a weird one. That's a weird one. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Dystoria Junkie, thank you so much as well. If the CGI in the special editions was improved to today's standards, just think if the prequels were also graphically remastered. Praise Disney. So have special editions of the special editions and like change the CGI again, change the movies again. No, no. I don't know, man. If anything, so you said if the CGI in the special edition was improved to today's standards, how about we just take them away? How about we just take it away and do what Harmy did, right? No thanks. There was a prequel. There's been prequel changes though. I mean, the biggest glaring one is Yoda. Yoda was a puppet in the theatrical release. But yeah, he was a puppet. In the Phantom Menace. And that was changed for the home release. But yeah, it's interesting.
The most jarring thing watching 4K 77 and 4K 83 side by side with the Blu-ray was
Lucas for sure.
A blue filter over everything. It was infuriating since I wouldn't have noticed it normally.
8 Young Nasty Man 8, thank you so much for the gracious channel support this evening. Give me one sec, man. Give me one sec. I'm super long-winded on this topic. I apologize. But yeah, Dystoria, like even bad CGI or dated CGI, not bad CGI. It's dated, right? It's undeniably dated. It's fine. It's a product of the time. I don't even want that updated. I don't want that changed. This isn't, Resident Evil 5. I want films to be a time capsule. And I want the original versions of every movie to be available. I mean, shit, my Blade Runner Blu-ray set has 5 versions of the movie in it. There's 5 discs, each with a different version of Blu-ray. The theatrical cut, the director's cut, the final cut. There's 5 versions of the movie in that box set. I love that. Let's have that. Anyway, I appreciate that, Dystoria. I even want dated CGI to stay dated CGI for preservation's sake, right? But anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Vince Wynn, thank you so much for the channel support. Maybe I meant 3. Let me see. Blade Runner, Blu-ray 5 disc. Let me see. Maybe I'm thinking there's 5 discs complete. Maybe there's 5 discs, 3 versions. Let's see. I'll have to look on my copy. I don't know. Let's see. 2007. Why can't it just say? Why can't it just say? Maybe it is only 3, but it does have 5 discs. Maybe the other ones are bonus. I can't remember. But anyway. Let me take a quick sip. Vince Wynn, thank you so much for the channel support as well, man. Vince says, rewatched Jedi with my dad a few years ago. He had never seen the special edition. When Jedi Rocks came on, I wish I had a photo of his damn face. That is funny, man. Yeah, that's one of the most just kind of egregious ones. It's there's like I said earlier, man, there's certain changes that kind of blend seamlessly, right? They don't jerk you out of the movie. They don't completely change a scene. They just maybe add a little something, a little clarity, a little kinetic energy to a dogfight or something like that, right? There's subtle changes, color corrections, maybe the correcting for some of the matte, I don't even know what you would call it back in the day, but the rotoscoping, you would call it now, correcting some of the edges and whatnot of things. That's all cool and dandy. But then there's changes like that are just, I mean, when that comes on, it doesn't even feel, it doesn't fit. It doesn't even, when you see this big CGI dude open his mouth and sing, it does not seamlessly blend in with the movie. It feels so different. It feels like somebody just painted on the film. I don't know. It just feels so out of place. Yeah. I want some lapty neck. Lapty neck rocks, man. A little it's I don't know, man. It is super cringy, Cole. What's up, man? Good to see you. Anyway, I appreciate that, Vince. Have that camera handy next time. Has he seen the other special editions? Has he seen A New Hope special edition? Anyway. I mean, even changes like Arabesh. Arabesh was changed. That was a change. It was like all of the computer components and whatnot in the original trilogy and A New Hope. When you see like the tractor beam stuff that Kenobi is messing with, or all that kind of, those doodads, those are in English in the original version. It's interesting, but that's kind of stuff I don't mind. That kind of stuff, you know. But anyway, Tin Tails, thank you so much for the channel support. Tintel says, buys despecialized edition. Everyone, my lord, is that legal? Me, I will make it legal. I'm not worried about you, man. I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the other people that sold it. Anyway, at least you got a copyright, and it's as you said, it's your most treasured piece of Star Wars something, and yeah, hold it tight because it's pretty incredible. As I said, I would love to do a little podcast interview thing with Harmy. Need to reach out. I think that'd be a really fun chit chat because I've listened to him in some interviews. He has actually his own yeah. Let me promote that. He has his own YouTube channel, man. There's Harmy's YouTube channel. You can listen to him talk about things that he's working on. It's really cool. Yeah, and I would love to have an opportunity to chit chat with him. But anyway, I appreciate that, Ten Tails. And Clark Herman, thank you so much for the channel support as well. Clark said, one sec. Clark says, where did it go? Clark says, when I first saw A New Hope when I was a kid, the part when Obi-Wan cut that alien's arm off and its severed arm and that pool of blood on the floor is shown, that scared me. Oh yeah, I get it. Well, that's when you were a kid. Yeah, Star Wars never ever scared me. Certain movies did, I guess. But I can understand that. I can completely understand that. That's a loud, fast, chaotic, quick scene. And I guess depending on how young you are, it's a lot of just chaos and momentum, and it's, like I said, it's super loud, and yeah, that entire sequence. I guess I could completely understand why that would scare a kid. I get it. Yeah, I'm sure when my daughter's like 5 or 6 years old, maybe that will scare her too. Not the violence of it, maybe, but just kind of the loud factor of it. I don't know, but anyway, Clark, I'm trying to think of movies that I watched when I was a kid that scared me. I do have a memory of watching Arachnophobia with my dad when I was a kid. We lived in our first house in Atlanta, so I might have been 8 or 9. I really don't know. 8, 9, 10, maybe around then. Maybe like 8. I don't know. But watching Arachnophobia, which a lot of you guys have probably never seen, but it's about spiders, obviously. And I watched it with my dad on the couch, and when it was over, I didn't want to step on the floor because I thought giant ass spiders would get me. That's really. But then like I watched Alien and Aliens like nonstop when I was that age. There was no restrictions in my house. I could watch anything I wanted. I watched Aliens and Alien when I was like 8 years old, maybe even younger than that. But yeah. Anyway, Clark, I get it, man. I get it. And Mr. Wolfman, thank you so much for the channel support as well. My man Wolverine from Cold Lake, Alberta, Canada. Is that where he's from? Where is Wolverine from? Wolverine was born as James Howlett in northern Alberta, Canada, approximately near Cold Lake. Oh, interesting. During the late 1880s, purportedly to rich farm owners John and Elizabeth Howlett. Though he is actually the illegitimate son of the Howlett's groundskeeper, Thomas Logan. I know nothing about the background of any of these characters. That's interesting. Man. Yeah. Nice. So that's a good piece of trivia. Where is Wolverine from? Do you think the trivia host would accept Alberta? I don't know if they'll be able to remember Cold Lake. All right, I'll be able to remember it because whenever if this question ever comes up, if I'm 60 years old and that question comes up during trivia, where's he from? I'm gonna think Bob Seger. I'm gonna think Fire Lake. I'm gonna think opposite of Fire Lake. I'm gonna think Cold Lake. That's the way my dumb brain will remember that. I'll remember it too. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. Little nugget of trivia. And William 5000 Forever, thank you so much for the channel support as well, man. My go-to is any version that doesn't have the distracting matte lines or frames around the ships, LOL. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about a few minutes ago. The changes like that don't bother me, right? And they're not... They are very noticeable in certain sequences. Just a big fucking square, right? Around spaceships. A lot of people have probably never even seen that, but certain sequences in the original of the originals, there are big squares that are lighter than space, like a shade gray lighter than blackness of space. And it's pretty distracting, but I kind of love it. But yeah, those kind of changes, man, don't bother me, you know. If the versions only aimed to do that kind of stuff, like subtle cleanup, all for it. But yeah, anyway, I get it, man. I get it. I appreciate that, Will. And Benjamin B, thank you so much for the channel support as well. Benjamin B said, finish Mandalorian. All the hype left me let down. I feel like 70% of it is fluff, unrelated to the plot. I have the despecialized OT, but haven't seen it yet. I hope the hype doesn't oversell it. Yeah, so Mandalorian, I can see that. I can see that. The hype kind of killing your enjoyment of it, or thinking that it's going to be more than it is. It's a very, very simple show, right? Super simple. Not much to it. It's a dude and a baby Yoda. And every single episode is basically a different adventure with different characters. Nothing too like groundbreaking happens. It's just a straightforward, fun show. The biggest surprise comes in episode 2. It's you know, but I enjoyed it for what it was, and I'm glad that it, at least the first season, kind of stuck to giving us new characters, you know. It's yeah. I guess I could see that. I don't know, man. I think to me it's just like just pure fun. It's just pure like Star Wars fun, Wild West fun. And if you go in with like a ton of hype, expecting it to be like more than that or completely blow you away, yeah, I could see how you could be disappointed. It's not challenging. It's not thought-provoking. It doesn't really bring up, at least yet, any crazy different sides of Star Wars or introduces any new topics yet, really. Unless, besides the child, that's the most intriguing thing, obviously. Yeah, like I said, it's very simple, but everybody seems to really enjoy it. Maybe that's because they watched it and the hype. Well, they should have shut it up after watching it. But anyway. But I appreciate that, man. I get it. Yeah. It's not the craziest thing. It's just kind of simple, fun. You said 70% of it feels like fluff, unrelated to the plot. I actually liked that. I actually liked how every single episode was different. One of my favorite episodes is the one with the Suka, the egg. I kind of liked how herky-jerky the story was in the first season, how it was all over the place. basically an entirely new cast of characters in every single episode. The pace was just crazy per episode. And the Mandalorian never really stuck around one place, right? So I kind of liked it. I liked how, I liked how different and disconnected the episodes felt from one another. But anyway, I appreciate that, Ben. It all ties together at the end, right? But and D Gill Vids, thank you so much for the channel support as well. D Gill says, remember how Spielberg tweaked Jaws for Blu-ray and printed a restored new negative? Anyone have the keys to a DeLorean to show George how it's done? Yes, I do remember that. I actually watched that Jaws restoration special or bonus feature on July 4th. Because I bought Jaws on 4K, and that same restoration behind-the-scenes stuff that was on the Blu-ray was also on this box set. Yeah, that's the way to do it, right? That's absolutely the way to do it. Tweak Jaws for the Blu-ray. But it's nothing crazy, right? It's not like adding a CGI Jabba the Hutt in a hangar. It's nothing like that. Just subtle. Audio as well. Very subtle. But also a restored new negative. So, anyway. Yeah. Do you also remember when Spielberg went and changed... Or maybe it wasn't Spielberg. Or maybe it was. I don't know. I really don't know who made the call on this. But do you remember when Spielberg or whoever made the call went in and digitally changed E.T.? They changed the agents, like the government agents who were chasing after E.T. and stuff like that. They changed it so they were no longer holding pistols. They were holding walkie-talkies, I think. Yeah. I believe so. But yeah. But I think that doesn't exist. Like, if you buy it on Blu-ray now, I don't think it has the walkie-talkies. That's so weird, right? Such a weird thing to change. And it's so subtle, too. It's not... I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Anyway. I appreciate that, D. Gill. And Bearded Emperor, thank you so much for the channel support. I greatly appreciate that. Have you ever seen the tragedy of Cosmic Wars? I don't know what that is. Tragedy of Cosmic Wars? Is that what it's called, or is it just Cosmic Wars? What is Oh, no. So you're calling Cosmic Wars a tragedy. Cosmic Wars video game. I've never heard of this. Cosmic Wars, is this what you're talking about? Cosmic Wars is a turn-based strategy video game produced by Konami in 1989, which is based upon the characters' conflict. If this is not what you're talking about, Bearded, let me know. I've never heard of this. Is this like one of those incredibly bad games that was like just Cosmic War? Is this one of those like incredibly bad games that well, it doesn't have a bad rating. Oh, movie series. This is... Oh, it's part of The Simpsons. No, I don't know what this is. Wait, so... Okay, so history. Cosmic Wars is a movie series created by Randall Curtis. A popular feature of the films is crazy costumes. There have been 7 films so far. What? Cosmic Wars Episode 4. A new take. Simpsons Wiki. Oh. Okay. So, Cosmic Wars is not a real movie series. It's a Simpsons in-universe movie series created by Randall Curtis. So Cosmic Wars is a movie series created by Randall Curtis. A popular feature of the films is their crazy costumes. One of the films, Gathering Shadow. Bart and Lisa think that the films have gotten a lot worse since their creation and go to see creator Randall Curtis. Ah, this is interesting. This is funny. Comic Book Guy is a fan of the series and watches the film several times a day. Homer showed a screening of an illegally downloaded version of the Cosmic War films. The film, that's funny, man. No, I'm not familiar with this whatsoever. I did not know that this was...
Greedo, sorry to veer off topic, but do you mind sharing how to submit a video/voice question for monthly Q and as if you're an appropriate patron when you have a chance? Sorry if it's bad to ask here.
Oh, no, you're good. Tintails, thank you so much for the channel support on all fronts tonight. I greatly appreciate that. Yeah, let me answer that real quick. So, Tintails, whenever I'm gearing up to do a Patreon Q&A, a future Q&A, which the next one will probably be on August 3rd, Monday, August 3rd. I'll usually just post on Patreon maybe like 5 days before, 4 days before. You'll see my post, and then you'll ask your question in the comment section of that post. So that's usually how it goes, pretty much every month. So yeah, all you got to do is, I guess, maybe have a notification on your email. You'll receive an email saying that HelloGreedo has posted, submit your August 2020 questions, and then toss your question down there. But yeah, so the next one, Tintails, will be Monday, August 3rd, probably around 7:30 p.m. So, and I will probably post to submit your August questions on Wednesday, July 29th. If that makes sense. But yeah, man, I appreciate that, Tintails. Yeah, I guess I should have clarified that. I should clarify that in the Patreon information page, the description and everything. But anyway, I'll knock that out tomorrow. But I appreciate that, man, and no reason to apologize at all. But yeah, Bearded, that's funny. I haven't watched Simpsons in so long, but I love this kind of, yeah, I love it. That's funny, man. And Lachlan Morris, thank you so much. I got it right there, right? I think I said Lachlan last. I think I really did. Thank you for correcting me. Lachlan, how do the 4K prequels look? I assume not as good as the OT because of how much it relied on early digital effects. That's a good question. I don't know. I actually haven't watched... I haven't even looked at them in 4K yet. And the thing is, are they all... I actually don't know the answer to this, but are they all upscales? Because they were shot... Well, Phantom Menace was shot... Phantom Menace was shot on film. Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, were they both shot digitally? Because if they were, I'm assuming they were shot at 1080p. I could be wrong. So does that mean that those two movies for a 4K release are upscaled? Do you know what I mean? It would be like taking... what's a good analogy? I mean, it would basically like be taking a 1080p screenshot of something and then dragging it to make it look like 4K, right? But yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming they definitely don't look as good, and I don't know if that. I honestly don't know if. Well, that's what kind of sucks, right? About shooting digitally, unless you have some crazy IMAX camera or something like that. Oh, it does have a lot of DNR. Interesting. I kind of want to check that out. But yeah, if you shoot digitally, kind of stuck at that resolution, right? With film, I believe a 35mm print can go up to 8K, maybe even higher. I'm not too sure. And a 70mm print can go to like, I don't know, 16K. I have no idea. But the resolution of that film is crazy. But you just can't get that if you shoot digitally at 1080p. Then your movie is forever stuck at 1080p. It's not like watching 1080p Blu-ray on a 4K TV is giving you 4K resolution. It's not, you know. I mean, it might, yeah. I mean, there's upscale technology, sure, but it's not native. Cole, what's up, Cole? 35 millimeter goes to 8K, 75 millimeter goes to 12K. Yeah, crazy. What did I say? 15? Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, I appreciate that, Lachlan. Yeah, I'm curious. I need to look into that. It might be a fun topic for a video as well. And 8 Young, I appreciate all the patience, guys. 8 Young Nasty Man 8, thank you so much for the channel support. The most jarring thing watching 4K 77 and 4K 83 side by side with the Blu-ray was Lucas throwing a blue filter over everything. It was infuriating since I wouldn't have noticed it normally. It is crazy how drastic of a change it is. That is a change that often gets overlooked too, even for me. Like when I made my entire Star Wars Changes series, whatever, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, it's been so long now. You know, if I was making those videos nowadays, they would be so different. Anyway, but that is one of the most drastic changes. I uploaded a video maybe a month ago or so, Young Nasty Man, and in the thumbnail of that video, it just perfectly shows the difference between the Blu-ray and 4K 77. It is so drastic. It is crazy. 4K 77, the original versions have a warm hue to them. They're brighter. And then you watch the Blu-rays, and there is a blue tint to everything. It's like way more contrast, dark. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's so noticeable when you look at it side by side. It's crazy. I think the blue tint and all that kind of stuff, it looks great. I actually kind of like it, but it is one of the craziest changes that maybe people don't often think about when they think of Star Wars changes, you know. But yeah, I appreciate that, man. And Desoria Junkie, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I greatly appreciate that. One sec. Okay, there we go. Starlink sighting in 5 minutes. All right. Destoria, thank you so much. Destoria says, how about a despecialized prequel trilogy and the sequel trilogy on VHS? A despecialized prequel trilogy actually could be a thing. That might already exist. I don't know of very many changes to Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith. Let me see. Attack of the Clones changes. Did I make a video? I know I made a video about prequel changes, but I think it was just really Phantom Menace stuff. Oh, no. Yeah. There was an Attack of the Clone change. I believe it was a change that completely swapped scenes. I believe it completely swapped scenes. I could be wrong about that. So, yeah, there could... I mean, there absolutely... you know, maybe there... Somebody out there, I'm sure, if it doesn't already exist, could absolutely make a theatrical cut of the prequels, because there is some changes made to those. I think the biggest one is Yoda. Yoda was originally a puppet in the theater, and then for the home release, he became CGI. So, yeah, it's part 8 of 8. Okay, I barely remember those videos. But anyway, I appreciate that, Storia. Sequel trilogy on VHS, I don't know about that. It's funny to me, man. Like, you know, my generation, a lot of my generation, I'm 34. I know a lot of people who collect, you know, vinyl records. My parents' generation are probably like, why the hell do you collect vinyl records? These clunky ass things. Why? Now, there's kids that collect like tapes, like cassette tapes of music. There's kids that collect VHS tapes and want, like, they create boxes, VHS box art for movies, for new movies. It's interesting. It's really interesting. There's got to be some psychological analysis out there of why we love, like, the previous generation shit for whatever reason, you know, despite there being superior quality stuff to watch it on or listen to it on, you know. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. And the Tin Tails one, oh, I already answered that, but yeah, Tin Tails. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, keep an ear out or an eye out or a notification out for when I ask that question of everybody on Patreon. Like I said, probably next Wednesday or so, I'll fire the the question out there, get everybody to submit their questions. But I appreciate that, man. James, thank you so much for the channel support. And Lego Star Wars Fan 77. What's up, Lego? Good to see you, man. I greatly appreciate that. Give me one sec. James asks, are you a fan of Indiana Jones? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I grew up with, you know, I was born in 86 and I grew up in the 90s, basically. And I think every kid who grew up in the 90s watched Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, Star Wars, among other things. But like those three things kind of were my movies growing up. So yeah, I love Indiana Jones. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, you know, it's not for me. But honestly, James, I think my favorite Indiana Jones movie is Temple of Doom. I love that movie. I think that's, from what I understand and what I've heard, that's a lot of people's least favorite Indiana Jones movie. I love it, dude. It's super goofy. Way more goofy than Raiders. And yeah, I don't know why, but it's always been really high on my list of Indiana Jones movies. I absolutely love it. But yeah. I actually saw Raiders of the Lost Ark at the Jacksonville Symphony. I think it was like 2 years ago. We went and it was awesome, man. We did this with The Empire Strikes Back too. We went and sit down and the Jacksonville Symphony plays the music and the movie is shown on a huge projector. And it was so awesome. So awesome. But yeah, man, I appreciate that, James. And Lego Star Wars Fan 77 and Oscar Rodriguez coming in with the final super chats and channel supports of the stream. Lego Star Wars Fan says, have you seen or do you own a copy of the despecialized editions? Yes. I have seen them. I own them. I own them digitally. I don't have physical copies. I've always wanted to burn them. I don't have a Blu-ray burner. My dad does. Maybe I'll get him to burn them, and I can make some cool cover art for them, you know. But yeah, I'm actually working on I've made videos about the Specialized Editions before, but the video that I'm working on right now is a much more detailed and researched and comparative video. I'm comparing the Despecialized Editions with Project 4K77, along with the Blu-ray. The 2011 Blu-ray release. I'm gonna be, comparing all three of those and going into the history of the things and kind of discussing all of that and whatnot. So, yeah. Anyway, love it. I appreciate that, Lego. And Oscar Rodriguez coming in with the final super chat and channel support of the stream. Oscar says, send you a link on Twitter. It's still not finished. Let's see. Shit, Oscar, do you not have your Oscar? Do you not have your Twitter like Why can't I? What's your username? Your Twitter handle? Yeah, what's your Twitter handle? Do you not have your Twitter, like, how do I put it? Authenticated with your phone or your email or something like that? I only get notifications from people who have, like, their phone or I think it's their phone. Oscar. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm not getting official. There we go. Cool. Wait, that's not right. There we go. There we go. Oh, nice. Demo render. Okay, here we go. Don't rush it, man. You don't have to put July 20th. Nice. Should I watch this with audio on? I will after the stream. No, yeah, I'll watch this after the stream. 1 minute and 3 seconds. That looks sharp. The fade. The picture of Wendy. That's her name, right? Wendy, yeah. Right? Yeah, Wendy. Wendy, South Park. Man, I actually told my wife the other day that I want to watch some South Park, and I can't remember what brought that topic up. Yeah, this is pretty cool, man. Really well done. Sorry, guys, I'm watching this. Here, I'll copy and paste it here. A little South Park fan film action. Oscars, with the exception of one scene, all the Stan Marsh footage was rotoscoped from official South Park episodes. So is Wendy. I did create Dream Theater. Think of it like a South Park special edition. It's almost finished, but circumstances in real life. Nice, man. That's cool. That's cool. Keep it up. Yeah, when it's done, definitely fire it. Let me know when it's done. I'll definitely check it out. But I appreciate the super chat and channel support tonight, man. And Lego Star Wars Fan 77, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Lego says, thought you said Raiders is your favorite indie film. I probably said that in the past, for sure. Well, shit, it bounces around all the time. I mean, a year from now, I might say Last Crusade is. They're all, I feel like they're all so different from one another, and that's why I think it works. Raiders is way more slow-paced. It is not nearly as goofy and silly and funny as the other two. Temple of Doom takes place in one place. It is like just, I don't know, it's different and weird and, you know, hearts being pulled out of chests and all sorts of crazy shit. And then Last Crusade is like a fast-paced, fun adventure, constantly moving, crazy, the biggest one out of the three, I would say. So, but the one that I watched the most as a kid, Lego, is Temple. I don't know why. Me and my sister used to watch that movie all the time. We had it on VHS. Our minivan growing up had a VHS, a TV in it with a VHS player. On road trips, we would watch it, and yeah, it was awesome. I really think it is my favorite Indiana Jones movie. But yeah, like Raiders, I love it, but I like when Indiana Jones gets a little goofier. Yeah. But anyway, I appreciate that, Lego. All right, guys, I got a jet. I planned on going like 45 minutes to an hour. This ended up being an hour and 50 minutes. But yeah, anyway. All right, guys. Let me close this window out. Cosmic Wars. There we go. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This is a topic that, you know, the different version of Star Wars, all that kind of stuff. It kind of kick-started this channel outright. You know, that's the whole reason this channel exists, is because of the changes made to the 2011 Blu-rays. That's why this channel exists. So I just wanted to talk about them, make some stupid video about them, you know. But yeah. DJ Kento, thank you so much for coming in with the final channel support. Going by the headline topic, Adawan's edits are the only version of A New Hope and ESB that I watch anymore. It's been a long time since I've watched those. It's been a very long time. You guys, I don't know if you remember Thaddeus, actually gave me a copy. And I believe he owned Adawan's Empire Strikes Back. Like something from Adawan's Empire Strikes Back, like he bought a Dagobah tree or something like that. So I can't remember exactly what it was, but that was really cool. I've seen Adawan's version of A New Hope. I've never seen Empire Strikes Back. That is an entirely different type of project, right? You know what? I'm going to add that to the list of things that I'm going to talk about. Because it's very different than Despecialized and 4K 77. It aims to do something different, you know what I mean? But his ESB edited Chef's Kiss levels are good. Nice. All right, so okay, yeah. I feel like, so you got Despecialized Edition, Project 4K 77, and Adawan. I feel like those are three very, very different types of Star Wars edits. You know, some are for preservation, some are for artistic liberties. I think, yeah. Okay, so I think it would be, yeah. That's definitely one to talk about too in this video that I'm making. So anyway, I appreciate that, Kento. Good to see you, man. I'll get around to watching the ESB one soon. I haven't watched the New Hope one in, shit, I don't know, 5 years, maybe longer than that. I really don't know. But has it been that long? Maybe not that long. I don't know. But anyway, man, I appreciate that. All right, guys, I got to jet. Waking up super early tomorrow, doing some shit. Working on this video. I'm going to take a day off running tomorrow. Actually, I'm probably not going to. I'm probably going to end up running tomorrow night. But anyway, guys. All right, to everybody who supported the channel tonight, this has been fun as hell. I love this topic. I do this topic so rarely just because it's always a big topic and it's always a fun one to talk about. I don't want to burn us out on the same topic over and over again, right? It's been, I don't know, when's the last time that I had a topic of conversation like this on a live stream? It's been a long time. But all right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. To everybody who supported the channel tonight, the channel survives because of you. To everybody who hung out, thanks for hanging out, man. So, have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are on planet Earth. And I will catch you all on the flip side. See ya!